You're listening to Big World Network.
Amazing Grace, Episode 8. Written by James Hellvig, read by Meagan Hedin. As he pans the tripod-mounted optics slowly across the perimeter of the church, the man observes the arrest being made across the street and writes every detail on a small pad of paper. His partner listens intently to the chatter coming from the parabolic mics. In moments, the police have rounded up the 3 would-be arsonists and have completed their own perimeter search. Uniformed officers begin canvassing the neighborhood and, with an exchanged glance and a shrug, the pair observing all of this begins breaking down their equipment with the ease of long practice. Reluctantly stowing his weapon in the padded case, the junior agent pockets his compact binoculars and says simply, "Rooftop," to which his partner nods in reply. Peering out the window at the busy street below, Anna turns to face Kat and Mother Steele, who are seated on the bed. Her grandmother is showering after their harried flight and subsequent scenic trip to the Midtown apartment. "This is so cool," Anna says, smiling. "And expensive," Mother Steele mutters. Standing to stretch, Kat yawns and, chuckling, replies, "We'll see if it's still cool after a few weeks. 1 shower, 2 bedrooms, 4 of us, plus the security folks, all in this cracker box. It's Uncle Sam's dime and it is expensive, but so tiny." Frowning in thought, Anna shrugs as only teenagers can, huffing. "Okay, so now what? Is Uncle Dale still coming?" Slapping Anna's shoulder lightly, Kat winks, saying, "Now you shower, Stinky. Dale will be along shortly." Ignoring the eye roll as Anna heads to the shower, Kat sighs loudly, looking at the slowly setting sun. "And then we start trolling the lot of you around like bait and try to keep any of you from getting killed." Tammy ghosts by the first door in the hall, pausing only long enough to hear that the conversation is that of a family going about its business. Walking quietly and quickly, she's halfway to the next entrance door when it suddenly opens and a muscular, middle-aged, darkly complexioned man steps into the hall. Their eyes lock and the man's eyes narrow. He reaches behind him for the door, intending to reverse his course. Dropping the microphone, Tammy charges down the hall, jerking the pistol from her pocket as the man spins back towards her, his hands tight to his body at chest level. Kicking out with his right foot, the man aims for her knee, at the same time as the stiffened fingers on his right hand jab at her eyes. Using the wall, Tammy pushes off and sidesteps hard to her right, the man's blows missing her by centimeters. As her momentum carries her past the attacker's center line, she lowers her shoulders and scoops her left forearm in an upward scything motion into his exposed groin. As his head snaps forward, Tammy uses her hips to snap her gun hand around, smashing the heel of the weapon into the side of the man's neck just below the ear. Grunting, his knees buckling, the man starts to crumple to the floor. Tammy redirects his descent by counter-rotating and using her left forearm to hook the man's neck and throw him violently over her hip, causing him to land in a tumbled heap in the middle of the hall. Opening the door, Tammy enters the apartment low and fast, pistol pulled in tight to her chest. A bald man with hard eyes and a tuft of a red beard is pulling a gun from a padded case in an open closet. Time slows and Tammy sees the man sinking to one knee and whirling to fire. Her own gun spits twice in rapid succession, and the subsonic hollow-point rounds strike the man in the forehead a half-inch apart. The tinkling of the ejected cases seems blatantly loud, while the thump of the dead man's body to the floor muffles the clatter of his dropped weapon. Quickly moving forward, Tammy clears the small apartment and returns to the hallway, dragging the semi-conscious man inside before closing and locking the door. With economical thoroughness, Tammy searches the moaning man, removing a knife and his wallet. His ID lists this address. The name on his license is Agni Racine. Taking a bottle of water from the sparsely filled fridge, Tammy dumps the contents onto the beaten man and steps back as he sputters back to wakefulness. Agni sits up slowly, his eyes going from the bore of the pistol leveled at him to his partner lying crumpled on the floor in a pool of blood. Cursing in Romanian, the man glares at Tammy, continuing finally in English, "You might as well kill me. I tell you nothing about the missiles." Concealing her surprise with a wicked grin, Tammy lowers the muzzle to point at his crotch, saying mildly, "Kill you? No. Cripple you and neuter you? Yes. Where is she?" Looking befuddled, Agni answers, "She? She who? I was instructed to watch for and capture you. Instructed by whom, Agni? Tammy growls. Spitting in her direction, the man curses again, crossing his arms over his chest. Eyes devoid of emotion, Tammy fires a round into the hardwood floor millimeters from the man's crotch, sending him scrambling backwards. Advancing a step and extending the gun, she says icily, "You will tell me, Agni, one way or another." Tammy is thinking furiously. She has already decided to subdue the man, and is only waiting until the police leave in order to remove him from the building and seclude him for interrogation, when, with a snarl, Agni launches himself from the floor, grasping for her weapon. Suppressing the instinct to shoot him, Tammy raises the pistol up as Agni's shoulder slams into her midsection, driving her back into the wall. Ramming her arms downward with a two-handed grip on the gun, she drives the butt of the gun hard between her attacker's shoulders. Driving her right knee upward, Tammy twists away as Agni attempts to grab her leg. His left arm pistons blows aimed at her kidneys and ribs. Breath heaving, Tammy snaps her head around, delivering a spinning back kick into the enraged man's torso, knocking him violently backwards. His arms pinwheeling for balance, Agni crashes into and through the apartment's living room window, plummeting to the street. Panting, hands on her knees, Tammy mutters vehemently, "Well, shit." Moving to the closet, Tammy removes a small memory card from the camera and listening recorder. Shouts from the street drift in through the broken window. Time to go, damn it. Listening at the door, Tammy conceals her weapon and takes a calming breath before quietly exiting the apartment and locking it behind her. Dale exits the cab, snapping his phone shut and eyeing the surrounding buildings. He has just finished talking with General Wazire, who was calling him personally to brief him on the latest developments. A second vehicle was found in Carlsbad, New Mexico, during a routine traffic stop. The van's occupants had killed the unfortunate officer after arousing his suspicions with their mannerisms. In the ensuing pursuit and gun battle, the 3 men had been killed and the second nuclear device had been found. Christ, they're on U.S. soil. If the triggers are here already too, shit. Increasing his pace, Dale makes random turns and stops, looking for an unwanted shadow. The small team he knows has been following him using the tracking device he's wearing is nowhere to be seen. Reaching the safe house after several minutes, he pounds up the stairs, nodding at the retired gentleman seemingly playing chess in the entryway. They're both former operatives. His phone vibrates twice, alerting him and acknowledging that he's cleared for passage to the 6th floor. The entire building is staffed with active or retired special operations people. The DoD maintains the security staff and recruits and encourages the tenants to supplement their income. Most are only too happy to oblige. Stepping into the hall from the stairwell, Dale knocks on the door. He waits for the security detail to release the locks and then patiently goes through the identification process. The murmur of the evening's news drones on from deeper in the apartment. Kat greets him solemnly as he enters the living area. "You're late." Motioning him in with a come-here gesture, most of her attention remains on the talking heads. Mother Steele, Anna, and Brenda are watching the images raptly as the reporter says, "As you can see behind me, police are still searching the area, looking for witnesses and possibly a perpetrator in this unfolding tragedy." The camera pans across the front of a familiar structure. Earlier this evening, a group of suspected gang members attempted to set fire to this church, whose pastor was assaulted and shot earlier today. Police apprehended the men and were in the process of canvassing the neighborhood when another man came crashing through a 27th floor window from the building just down the street here, plunging to his death. On screen, lights from the numerous police cruisers and emergency vehicles strobe, casting eerie shadows as the day's light ebbs away. Dale leans forward from behind the couch, asking, "Is this a live feed?" Kat nods as Mother Steele increases the volume. Straightening, Dale turns, running for the door. Kat calls after him, "There's a team en route." "A team's not me," Dale yells as he jerks open the door.
This has been a presentation of Big World Network. Visit us on BigWorldNetwork.com for more free weekly series, or follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Thanks for listening.
You're listening to Big World Network.